Right, Shalom, Lahayim, peace to the gods. Now, Wathan, Kal, Halal Yamla, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Cha Hakadash, giving all praises to Yahweh in the name Yahweh Shai. Giving all praises to Yahweh in the name Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the elder apostles, elder bishops, and the heads and elders of all the camps of great men who do well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect, the tabernacle of David, those predestined spirits of election scattered abroad. This is your brother Tazapanya of the Great Millstone, Washington, D.C. camp, Ottawa, Batazah. Lord willing, is in transit. Quick hit digital epistles edifying to the elect. So the topic of this lesson is for everyone that stealeth shall be cut off, which is a excerpt from the book of Zechariah, chapter 5, and I think verse 2, giving the consequence of those that steal um, getting met with the flying roll. The flying roll, all right, is a so-called UFO. It is the chariots of Israel, okay, as the apostles have been teaching, all right, pursuant to the scriptures, which is the truth, pursuant to the scriptures. This is why it gives you a measurement, because it's a physical thing. Just like the Lord had gave measurements, right, to Moses and to Solomon in regarding building the Ark of the Covenant and the temple. Okay. So Zechariah, the prophet, Zechariah, all right, was given the measurements of the aerial view that he saw, and the word roll goes to the Hebrew word, which is translated into scroll, like a literal scrolls, bro. The worm shall be set under thee, man. It's crazy. Um, what's the name? Salakia. Um, the aerial view on how big that rolled cigar shaped type UFO was, but the consequence, like I said, I think it's verse 2, says that this is what is going to happen basically to all those that stealeth, all right, um, shall be cut off. Okay, and then what came to my head through the spirit was a couple of precepts, because one of the main ones that we use is that if a man be caught stealing another man, in the law, but knowing that Babylon is, which is America, which is spiritually Sodom and Egypt. Egypt is reminiscent to the house of bondage or hardcore slavery. And we know that the chains isn't physical chains no more, but contractual, we're bondsmen contractually to contracts, all right, birth certificate, social security, so on and so forth. And the taxes that we have, which is a telltale sign of being a slave to the international banking families, the Rothschilds, so on and so forth. So we know that they steal money from the workers, the laborers of the field. So there was a couple of precepts, and if brothers want to post them on the comment board, feel free. But I think James chapter 5 and verse 4, Habakkuk 2 and verse 5, right? And then Ecclesiasticus 10 and 8. I'm gonna just roughly paraphrase, since I don't have the sword in front of me right now. But I was watching Elder Pastor Hall's video, and when he brought out that Zechariah 5, one of his videos that he came out with today, or was it it was Elder Apostle Ryan Lott when he did the live earlier, and asking Chat GPT about the chariots of Israel. That's what it was. And how he made a statement saying that Esau definitely going to get fucked up, you know, um, because of, all of the people that, the Southern Kingdom, remember the dragon slew in Revelation, 3 stars from heaven, down to the earth, roughly paraphrases, talking about Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. But also that, the first slaves was eating of the Northern Kingdom and sending them from America, the Native Americans, so-called Native Americans, the tribe of Gad, to Europe, specifically like the Iberian Peninsula, Spain, so on and so forth. So this man has been stealing men through, and has been a human trafficker, for millennium now. If you really, half a millennium, right? But again, going into the modern day, even though that's still in effect, let's not get it twisted. But there was, just trying to land back that they stealing a lot of funds, that, the Babylonian people worked hard for, and specifically Jake, right? So that's why I wanted to get the water. GMS Tasa Dr. Alban Yahweh 144K. I'm gonna just get straight to the point. James 5. James 5 and 4, and it reads, "Behold, hire of your laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you, kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth." Okay, and that pretty much goes into the Lord of Troops, if I'm not mistaken, or armies, something to that effect. Okay, showing you that there's a specific reason why James gave the title unto Howard Shah, because that Lord is only one capital and Lord out of one the they fit the small has call it I don't know nine, all right, or Adon, all right, which just means master, where you get the term the Lord of Sabaoth, because if you continue to steal or keep back by fraud, right, wages unto your servants, you stealing from them. And in Zechariah, it tells you what's going to happen to those that steal on every side of it, the flying road. This is why the skies is going to be saturated with chariots, so-called UFOs, man, to get busy, specifically upon Idumea, because the Lord has a great sacrifice, all right, upon Idumea, man, And if you can, Baba Bashar, if you could get Zechariah 5, chapter 5, verses 1 and 2, Baba Bashar. This is Habakkuk. So Habakkuk 2 and 6, where it says that how long they going to give a proverb to say how long. If I could show you this traffic on 95, yo, both sides completely, I'm about to be stopped right now. On this side going southbound, bumper to bumper. On this side north, I'm just to bumper to bumper. Bro. Habakkuk 2 and 6. Habakkuk 2 and 6, it says, shall not all these take up a parable against them? And all these is all the nations, all these nations that got their due consequence because they drunk of Babylon's cup of fornication, which means they got Americanized. They started to copy their philosophies and ideologies. So they're taking up a parable against him, which is Esau, Edom. All right, Western civilization, the beast, NATO, EU, and a taunting proverb. Yeah, because they're trying to taunt Esau and his power structure. All right, to basically act irrational, because on the other end, they're trying to strategize to bring them down, so that thinking that they're going to come back up, but they're not, because the next kingdom to come is Yahweh's kingdom. Nobody, no Moabite, no Ishmaelite, no so-called Chinese, no so-called Arabian. They're not going to be the next superpower. Definitely not no Edomite, so no Russian. But it says, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. And that's the point. So this devil, the scriptures are saying, woe, destruction, judgments, mourning, death, to him, to Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, that increase, he's increased, he is stealing. You see? And that's why I wanted Zechariah chapter 5. Let's see if I can get it real quick. Wow. Staying still trapped. This is Zechariah 5 and 1. It says, then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll, which is a chariot of Israel. All right. The roll is from a scroll. Okay. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll, the length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Here's the point. Verse 3. Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the faith. Now remember, in Malachi it says, um, the people of his curse, who he has indignation forever. Okay? So if the Edomites are the people of his curse, isn't this curse is going to be upon him? And then when we read in Revelation talking about the third parts of man, because there's three parts of men: the sons of God, which are the Israelites; the sons of man, which are the heathen nations that the Lord's not dealing with; and then the sons of the wicked, which the Lord's is the people of his curse that the Lord's not dealing with as well, that he hates. Okay, so there's a reason why he mentioned the third part in Revelation about 2 times, if I'm not mistaken. Revelation, um, it's either 15 or 16, and Revelation 8, I want to say, but on how they're going to be killed, or unalived or whatever, through by Yahweh Shai, specifically of the angels. Okay, and the ICBMs, of course, because this is going to be a curse unto those that do what? It says, for everyone that stealeth this side according to it, and every one that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. Yeah, and they swear, they took an oath by making these scriptures to say that they're going to live according to these scriptures, man, and they haven't. Want to claim that the so-called Christians, what they're not, the anti-Christians, but the point is the stealing part. Okay, and they're stealing a whole bunch of money. Look at your gross versus your net. Like Elder Yashawamba would say, I'm seeing 777 on this license plate right here. Spiritual, you know, completion. But But yeah, you know, it is constant theft regarding your pockets. There's a reason why in Haggai, what is that, 1 and 6, that we put money into the bag with holes. Who do you think opened them holes? Cut them holes open, you know? It's nothing but the traps and snares of Esau, man. Okay, it's not going to random things in your life, little amenities and extracurricular activities. Nah, man. It's to all of the bullshit and the unrighteous decrees and grievousness prescribed that Esau wrote, man. You know? Um, right. So, pursuant to this, the chariots of Israel is going to be heavily on Esau because of him stealing not only the Israelites, taking them from wherever they was located, you know, bringing them to wherever they want them to be, scattering them, which it was the Lord that scattered us, but he used the wicked, which is his sword, soon to the book of Psalms. But as I read in James 5, they are um, keeping wages back from their laborers by fraud, which is stealing, because that's a criminal activity. Okay, not fraud. You could go to prison for fraud, right? So that means there's deception involved, right? And it shows you because robbing and stealing is, you know, two different things in the English language, right? A rob is when you're threatened with, you know, um, your life is threatened, and they're intentionally in front taking it from you. Steal is like you don't know what happened, who did it. Somebody stole this from me, and you're trying to figure it out. You know. So boom. So James 5, right? About fraud. Um, Habakkuk, he increased that which is not his, right? Ladeth himself with thick clay. That thick clay in the Hebrew is abatyat, which means heavy debt. You see? Um, so if you take anything that's not yours, you stole it. Okay. So the flying roll is going. There's three witnesses I'm bringing out right now, according to the script. Three precepts, three witnesses to why Esau is going to be met by, you know, the chariots, so-called UFOs, so-called UAPs, that they are so scared shitless from. They're dismayed by these signs of heaven. 3-eye Atlas, 7,000-mile long, you know, UFO, right? That sounds like a great mountain to me. Imagine something that could literally cover the whole America. Like from New York to LA, it's dark. The sun is blotted out. The moon is blotted out. But then you see the lights from this farther ship. You know what I'm saying? A fire unfolding within itself. You know what type of sight that would have to be, man? It's crazy. You know? Um, and then the last one was, I think the brother posted it, is Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and 8. Yep. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, which is that fraud. Damn, I'm so tired, bro. Salakia, man. Injuries and riches got by deceit. That's that fraud as well. All right. That's increasing that which is not his. Ladeth himself with thick clay. The kingdom is translated from one people to another. And this kingdom is going to be translated not be voluntarily. They're not just going to give it. The scripture talk about, and the saints shall take the kingdom forever and ever, even ever and ever. Soon to the book of Daniel. Okay. So, all right, this translation of the kingdom is going to be via Yahweh Shai, all right, and the host of chariots, of armies, starting with Michael, right, that is following behind him in that spiritual armada. that is going to be a curse upon all those that stole and swore, all right, falsely, basically, which is Esau Edom. Okay, so that was pretty much the point. Dang, Shalakia, man. That's pretty much the point, man. All right. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Lord willing, I was edifying to the elect. You know, Esau got a big judgment, heavy judgment coming. Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahushai. On to the next one. Shalom.